this is Brett Ingram, and welcome to the Leverage Show. Today, I want to share with you a simple way to make sure that you actually use and apply all the things that you come across that you think would be great methods or adjustments to methods of things that you're doing in your business. So it happens to all of us. You know, in our daily travels, whether we're reading some online article or we go to some training, the challenge is we learn all of these great ideas and we come up with tweaks to processes that we've got or methods that we want to test and try. But ultimately, how do we translate it from either the written word that we see on maybe a website or whatever, or in a book, or maybe from the oral word, where if we're at a seminar or we're at a conference and we hear the speaker and they have some great idea for the thing that we want to do, or possibly even from a video. If you're watching, YouTube videos or podcasts or whatever else, you come up with all of these great ideas. And the question becomes, how do you take an idea like that and actually make sure you start implementing it? Because what happens a lot of times for most people, I know it happens to me all the time, is I'm very good about meaning to actually implement stuff. I don't just sit there and watch it or sit there and read it. I'm an active, engaged participant in it. So if I'm reading an article or I'm reading something that I think has tips to help me with something in my business or my life, I'll even make notes in the margin. I'll circle stuff. I'll do all these things. If I'm at a seminar, I'll take some notes. I'm very selective about it. I don't try to write down everything, but any sort of ahas or golden nuggets or great takeaways, those are all things that I always try to put down. But then what ends up happening is it becomes very difficult then to actually try to use that, because you have a process that you're using, you fall into old habits, you're busy, and then somehow, the idea that you had and all the momentum that you had for using it is gone. The excitement of it being new and the possibilities of what it can do for you sort of fade, and then it becomes difficult and it gets shuffled away. And then months down the road, or maybe years, you discover it again. And then you say to yourself, geez, these were great ideas. Why didn't I ever use that? This is stuff that might have really helped me had I been doing it all this time. I meant to implement that. I meant to do it. I had the right intention. So what happened? Well, the basic problem is that you're working in your normal realm of responsibilities and processes and tasks and projects. And so it's very difficult to introduce something new to that, especially if you don't have a process for doing it. So you have all of these sort of different inputs. You've got written notes over here. You've got a tape recording over there. You got a video. And they all have sort of ideas. This one's going to help you with email marketing. That's going to help you get more customers. This is going to help you with customer retention, setting up a continuity plan, whatever it is. And so then if there isn't any way to incorporate that stuff, it becomes really difficult. So here's a great way to do that in a systemized manner where you're going to be able to do this over and over again. And it isn't going to matter where the information comes from or in what format. If you follow this process, what you'll find is you're able to create living, breathing documents and living, breathing processes that are constantly being modified, updated, and improved. So you're in a situation where your company, your business, and all the things that you're doing are going to evolve over time and continue to get better, because they continue to build on the stuff that you've learned. So here's the best way to do it. Start by creating a very basic process for every single thing that you do in your business. Now, this is going to be potentially a big job to get started with up front. So the best way to do this is, if you have staff, if you have employees, or you have outsourcers, have them document their own job for you, so you don't have to go and do it yourself. If you have somebody who does your email marketing, have them document the process that they go through every single day. I log on at this hour, I write an email using this format, whatever it is. And even if it's very basic, and even if they don't quite get it, and it doesn't come out like a really good process at first, it's fine. The most important thing is to get something down. And the format that you want to use, again, is whatever resonates best with you and your company and the way that you work. If you like mind maps, that's fine. If you like flow charts, that's fine. If you want a bulleted list, that's fine. The key, the most important takeaway about setting this stuff up is that it needs to be in a format that can be used and accessed by everybody. So it does need to be digital. It isn't going to do you very much good to write this stuff down in a notebook, because if you have employees or staff, especially if they work remotely, unless they're right there with you, they're not going to be able to use it. So you want it to be in digital format so everybody can access it. That's one big key. The other big key is it needs to be something that's editable. So if you're going to do it in like a text format, you want to make sure that the formatting is clean. You want to make sure that it's going to be easy to adjust and edit things. Because what you're going to do is set up a basic process for each thing. So let's say, for example, email marketing. And you're going to start off with your process. And again, let's just say to start off, you've got, okay, write a subject, write a body copy, add, personalization, like add the first name tag to the opening of the email. We're going to write this in the footer. This is going to be like our close, to your success or whatever it is. And then we're going to sign it as this company. We're going to make sure that it's got our, disclaimer in the footer, whatever other stuff that you want to put in there. So let's just say initially it's very functional, your process. That's fine. It isn't going to help a lot of people, but it's fine, because at least they'll be able to physically know how to send another email. Now, let's just say, for example, you go and you buy an online course, or you read some course or document that shows you, hey, listen, here's a great way to double your open rate. If you write a subject line that starts with a question, or a subject line that has a big, number in it, or whatever it is, right? So you got a couple suggestions for how to do the subjects. That's going to get you more opens. Now what you do is you go back to your process and you open it. And before you even let the ink dry on that idea, you get right in there and you add that in. So now you've got a process, and when the process is write a subject line, now you're going to add a couple bullet points under that, or a couple of little, shapes to your flow chart that basically say, try to use a big number. Try to use a question in the subject. Keep it under 50 characters. Whatever advice and tips that you're getting, incorporate that stuff right into the process and then save it as version 2 of the process. Now, a couple of weeks go by and you see this other thing, or you go to a seminar and some person gets up there as an email expert. They talk about it and they say, you know what? There's a great format for how to write your body copy. You want to write, identify the problem, then you want to agitate the problem, and then you want to show people a solution for the problem. Problem, agitate, solve. Great. You go back, you open up that process, and now right under the body copy, you add a couple more notes. Try, to identify the problem, agitate that problem, and then solve it. You can put as much detail or as little for each of these things. If everyone's going to know what it means, you could just keep it the way that it is. If you want to put concrete examples for each of these, that's fine. The important thing is you're evolving your process for how you're doing email marketing. Then a week goes by and you see this article on some online website that says, you know what? You've got to make sure that you cloak your links. Use a link shortener, because if you're using an affiliate link or you're using a domain and it happens to be blacklisted, all of your emails are going to go into spam. Great. You've got another thing now. When we're adding an affiliate link, make sure we use Bitly or some tiny URL service to cloak that link. Now you've got this process. Now here's where the rubber really meets the road, though. What this is going to do for you is great, because it's going to create an elaborate detailed process that once you've done this, you literally, your staff could up and leave, and you could hire somebody, and the very next day they could jump right in and start doing this because they're going to have this nice process that's been evolved and improved over time. But here's where it's really key. Just because you read something, just because you saw something, just because somebody said it was a great idea, doesn't mean it's going to work for you in your market. So you add these to your process, but you always make sure that you test. Test the hypothesis. Give it a try. See, are your open rates going up, or are your open rates going down, or are they staying the same? If it's working, keep doing it, or maybe even improve upon it. You could always test and try different things yourself and add these things to it as well. And that's the other key. It doesn't mean that just because you've learned things from the outside, you can't try your own stuff. Try your own stuff too, but you tell everybody on your staff, if you come up with a better way to do something or to try something, try it, but document it. And if it works, make sure you add it to our process. Then anything that isn't working, you scrap it. So you want to constantly be reviewing your processes, and you want to be adding and subtracting so you're optimizing those for your business and your situation. And what will happen over time is you will create this incredible structure to your business that makes it scalable, that makes it sellable, that makes it very easy to have everybody on the team have somebody stand in or replace them just like that if needed. And so that is how you take all of this information that you're learning from outside sources and even from your own thoughts and ideas, and you incorporate them instantly into exactly what you're doing to evaluate them, give them a test run, and then decide whether to keep it or scrap it. And over time, you will be amazed by the depth and breadth of the processes you can develop and the competitive advantage that it gives you over every single competitor in your market. As always, if you have any questions or comments, share them with me at leverageshow.com or tweet them at #LeverageShow. And until next time, make it happen.